Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we are rejourning to the heart of the Bavarian Alps to uncover the story behind one of the world's most famous landmarks, Neuschwanstein Castle. This isn't just any castle. It's a real-life fairy tale, a stone and mortar dream that has inspired millions, including Walt Disney himself. But behind its breathtaking beauty lies a story of a lonely king, soaring ambitions, and a dream that was never fully realized. So, grab a cozy drink, and let's step back in time to explore the fascinating history of Neuschwanstein. Our story begins with King Ludwig II of Bavaria, often called the fairy tale king, or sometimes less kindly, Mad King Ludwig. Born in 1845, Ludwig ascended to the throne at the young age of 18. Unlike his contemporaries, who were obsessed with politics and warfare, Ludwig was a romantic soul, deeply passionate about art, music, and mythology. He found the duties of a modern monarch tedious and longed to escape into a world of fantasy and beauty, a world he could control. His greatest inspiration was the composer Richard Wagner. Ludwig wasn't just a fan, he was Wagner's most devoted patron, saving him from financial ruin and believing his operas were the pinnacle of German culture. Wagner's epic tales of medieval knights, mythical swans, and holier grails captivated Ludwig. Esse Imagination. He didn't just want to listen to these stories, he wanted to live in them. And so, the idea for Neuschwanstein, which translates to New Swan Stone, was born. It was to be a magnificent, romanticized recreation of a medieval German knight's castle, a private retreat where he could immerse himself in the world of Wagner's heroes. In 1868, Ludwig sent a letter to Wagner, describing his vision. He wrote, "I intend to rebuild the old castle ruin in the authentic style of the old German knights' castles. The location is one of the most beautiful one could find, holy and unapproachable." Construction began a year later, in 1869. But this was no ordinary building project. Ludwig wasn't building a fortress for defense. He was building a stage set for his dreams. He hired a stage designer, Christian Jank, to create the initial drawings, rather than an architect. This choice tells you everything you need to know about his priorities: appearance and theatricality over practicality. The castle was built on a rugged hill, overlooking his childhood home, Hohenschwangau Castle. This location provided stunning panoramic views, but also posed immense engineering challenges. Tons of rock had to be cleared, and modern technology for the time, like steam-powered cranes and elevators, was essential. Ludwig spared no expense. He demanded the finest materials and the most skilled artisans from across Bavaria and beyond. Woodcarvers, muralists, and stonemasons worked for years to bring his incredibly detailed vision to life. Every room in Neuschwanstein was designed as a scene from one of Wagner's operas. The Singer's Hall, for instance, is a stunning recreation of the hall featured in the opera Tannhauser. It's adorned with elaborate frescoes depicting the legend of the poet. The throne room is another marvel, designed in a breathtaking Byzantine style. It was meant to represent the Grail Hall from Parsifal. Glimmering with gold and blue, its mosaic floor depicts the plants and animals of the world, while a massive chandelier shaped like a Byzantine crown hangs from a star-studded ceiling. But ironically, the throne room never had a throne. By the time of Ludwig's death, the platform stood empty, a poignant symbol of his unfinished dream. As the years passed, Ludwig became more and more reclusive, spending most of his time at his various construction sites. Neuschwanstein was his ultimate escape. He obsessively oversaw every detail, often demanding changes that delayed construction and sent costs skyrocketing. What was initially planned as a 3-year project stretched on for decades. His ministers grew increasingly alarmed. The castle was being financed from Ludwig's personal fortune and loans, not state funds, but his debts were piling up, reaching a staggering 14 million marks. While the castle's exterior looks like a medieval fortress with its tall towers and turrets, the interior was surprisingly modern for its time. Ludwig insisted on including the latest technological innovations. The castle had running water on all floors, including hot water in the kitchen and baths. It featured a forced air central heating system and even a battery-powered bell system for summoning servants. There was even a telephone line installed, one of the very first in Bavaria. This blend of medieval fantasy and 19th century technology makes the castle truly unique. It was a fantasy world, but a comfortable one. One of the most magical features is the grotto, a small, artificial cave built right into the castle. Complete with a little waterfall and colored lighting, it was designed to look like the Venus Grotto from Wagner's Tannhauser. Imagine a king having his own private, mystical cave inside his castle. It truly shows the extent of his desire to blend fantasy with reality. A small conservatory next to it offered a beautiful view of the Alpine landscape. By 1884, Ludwig was able to move into his still unfinished castle, but he would only live in his dream world for a total of 172 days. His extravagant spending and withdrawal from state affairs had pushed his ministers to their limit. In 1886, they conspired to have him declared mentally unfit to rule. A medical commission, without ever examining him properly, declared him insane. On June 12, 1886, King Ludwig II was taken from Neuschwanstein and brought to Burg Castle on the shores of Lake Starnberg. What happened next remains one of history's great mysteries. The very next day, on June 13th, Ludwig and the psychiatrist who had certified him, Dr. Bonguden, went for a walk along the lake. They never returned. Hours later, their bodies were found in the shallow water. The official ruling was that Ludwig took his own life after taking the doctors, but many questions and conspiracy theories persist to this day. Was it an accident? An escape attempt gone wrong? Or something more sinister? We may never know the full truth. The fairy tale king's life ended in tragedy, just as his greatest creation was nearing completion. At the time of his death, only about a third of the castle's interior rooms were finished. His grand throne room lacked a throne, and the massive chapel was never built. Within weeks of his death, the Bavarian government, desperate to pay off the massive debts, made an ironic decision. They opened Ludwig's private sanctuary to the public. The very place he built to escape the world became one of the world's most popular tourist attractions. The castle that nearly bankrupted its king became an incredible source of revenue for Bavaria. Today, Neuschwanstein is a symbol of Germany and a global icon of romantic architecture. It welcomes around 1.4 million visitors every year, who come to marvel at its fairy tale silhouette and opulent interiors. It's the castle that inspired Sleeping Beauty's castle at Disneyland, becoming a blueprint for fantasy castles in movies and stories ever since. So, when you look at Neuschwanstein Castle, perched majestically in the Alps, remember its story. It's more than just a beautiful building. It's the physical embodiment of one man's magnificent, all-consuming dream. A monument to the power of imagination, the love of art, and the tragic tale of a king who wanted nothing more than to live in a fairy tale of his own making. In a way, by visiting and sharing its story, we help keep his dream alive. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the past. What do you find most fascinating about Neuschwanstein or King Ludwig II? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more stories behind the world's most incredible places. We'll see you in the next one.